Hey guys, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Right now the stream is a little bit delayed and I have some bad bit rates. Uh, so let's see, so we're live for 12 seconds, so we got at least a 15-second delay from when I'm actually talking to you guys and you guys are seeing this. Let's take a look here. Let me know if you guys can hear this okay, obviously, in the chat. So let's see how this works. Well, hold on for people. Right now we don't have anybody viewing. Oh, okay, so we got somebody viewing right now. Excuse me. Hey, let me know if you can hear me okay. It's kind of weird looking at myself here in the one display that's showing me, it's like 15 second delay, so it's kind of strange. And I don't know if you guys are hearing me okay or not. But let me know if you guys are hearing me okay. If we're good to go, I think we'll get into it. I'm not hearing anything. No. Yeah, this is really strange. Sorry, guys. It's just a little weird having such a big delay. My bit rate seems to be down. I don't know why. But let's get into it. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is obviously Bitcoin, where it's going. We'll take a look to see what else is going on in there, see if you guys have any questions. Did a live stream yesterday. That was kind of fun, so I thought I would do it again today. Got nothing going on. No good movies really to watch, so I figured, what the heck, why not? So let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, we'll kind of take a look at Bitcoin, see where it's at right now. So let's take a look here. There we go. All right, so here's Bitcoin right now. It is down again for the day. Let's take a look at the 1 minute chart, see what's going on in the 1 minute on it. And we can see that it is just trading sideways right now a little bit on the 1 minute chart. Let's get rid of the daily lines. This should give us better. There we go. That is giving us a little bit better understanding of what's going on with Bitcoin on the 1 minute chart. We are basically right now in a little pattern here on the 1 minute. If we go to the 1 hour, we can see that we are obviously trading sideways here. Almost kind of a little wedge pattern here that's formed in the 1 hour chart. The RSI is still kind of low on the 1 hour, which is kind of good. On the 4 hour, we're still way oversold on the 4 hour, which is good to see. Hopefully we stay there for a while and we have some capitulation in the market. On the daily, we're way oversold, obviously, here as well. Hey Gary, how you doing? So we got a couple of you guys in here again today. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Open forum. If there's anything you want to talk about in particular. I just wanted to take a look at this. There's another story that just came out today, and that was El Salvador purchases another, looks like 410 Bitcoins, which is kind of cool. So they're buying the dip, obviously. El Salvador purchases 410 more Bitcoins amid market drop. President Buchel says the nation has now over 1,500 Bitcoins and plans to issue a 1 billion 10-year Bitcoin bond this year. So that's kind of exciting as well. I'm guessing they're going to be using that 1 billion to fund their Bitcoin purchases, possibly. So El Salvador bought 410 Bitcoins, excuse me, for 15 million Friday. The country's president, Nayib Bukele, said on Twitter. Some guys are selling really cheap, he added in his tweet. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's tough. It's a tough market to be in right now. It is difficult to verify such claims in the public blockchain since a buyer of a block of BTC that size would almost certainly have to buy it in smaller chunks to avoid slippage. Bitcoin, well, the volume is on Bitcoin so high, I don't think it would really matter. Bitcoin was down almost 12% late Friday to 36,500. Levels broader crypto prices also retreated. So here's Naib's tweet. Nope, I was strong, didn't miss it. El Salvador just bought 410 more Bitcoins for $15 million. Some guys are selling really cheap, and they are. I'm a Bitcoin hodler, so I don't sell cheap. I hold on to it. I buy the dips if I can. The nation now holds over 1,500 BTC and plans to issue it. So, let's see what else did he say here. Buchel has been a consistent dip buyer over the past couple of months in a sign of confidence in the cryptocurrency long-term prospects. We also had Michael Saylor say the same thing, that he's not selling any of his Bitcoins anytime soon, that they plan to basically buy more as if prices go down even further. Let me see what else we want to talk about here. Let's see what else we got in the news a little bit. Obviously, a lot of fear and doubt in the news right now. They were talking about the Fed Central Bank digital currency also. I read a little bit into it, but I mean, there's nothing definitive in that paper. It's a lot more questions and concerns with digital cash. Let's see what else we have here. We talked about New York's mayor getting paid in Bitcoin and Ethereum. What else do we have here? We also had the news, obviously, of Microsoft buying, what was it, Activision, I think they bought. Let's see if we can find that in here. So that was obviously a big story as well. Let me see here, Microsoft Corporation. Let's see here. Yeah, Activision. So Microsoft bought Activision for like, what was it, $60-some billion or $70 billion. So they're definitely pushing more into the gaming space. Obviously, they have the Xbox anyways right now. What else do we have here? MicroStrategy. Let's see here. MicroStrategy more than $2 billion in Bitcoin and proven business intelligence software. There's also a story. Oh, here it is. So SEC rejects non-GA gap Bitcoin accounting from MicroStrategy. Drop on Bitcoin slide. SEC rejects. There we go. So I don't understand the accounting part of it. Why the SEC has issues with it. Shares of Microsoft Strategy tumbled 17.8% Friday afternoon after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission reportedly rejected the company's Bitcoin accounting strategy. The business intelligence software company's stock had been falling in tandem with the price of Bitcoin. It's basically a proxy for Bitcoin right now, which dropped more than 10% Friday to its lowest price, to lowest point since August. MicroStrategy shares are down 24.7% for the week. Ouch. A filing released Thursday showed the SEC is rejecting the accounting method MicroStrategy was using for Bitcoin in its earnings report. We note your response to prior comment 5, and we object to your adjustment for Bitcoin impairment charges in your non-GAAP measures. The filing said, please revise to remove this adjustment in future filings. So kind of interesting there. Not sure what that really means. MicroStrategy began buying Bitcoin as part of capital allocation in 2020. As of end of 2021, MicroStrategy held 124,391 Bitcoins, acquired for roughly 3.75 billion at an average price of about 30,000. So they're still up on it, obviously, on that one. So we'll have to see how this all plays out for them. But I'm not an accountant, so I really don't know how they're accounting for it. Let's see what else do we have here that's interesting to talk about. MicroStrategy. Let's take a look at following cryptocurrency. So we do obviously have some fear in here. So cryptocurrency is a giant Ponzi scheme. No, it's not. Do you guys have any questions out there, anything like that? Anything you want to talk about? I know a lot of you guys are probably busy right now, so just kind of figured we'd kind of talk about, see what's going on your minds. Obviously, Bitcoin is a big thing right now that's going on. Other than that, not much else. I'm trying to find anything that's good and worth reporting on, talking about, but it's just all Bitcoin plunges, crypto crash, panic, misses Bitcoin's billionaire Michael Saylor on the street. What else do we have? Digital currency. No, game developers aren't interested in NFTs, and cryptocurrency report suggests. That's kind of interesting. I would think that game developers would be into it, especially since NFTs have been going up in price like crazy lately. What else do we have here? Yeah, the SEC blocked Anthony Scaramucci, so we talked about that earlier this week as well. Bitcoin dumps to hit 6-month low nears 38,000, and then El Salvador obviously buys more. The only thing I've seen that's interesting now is going to be what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and then we get the Russians possibly banning Bitcoin mining and trading. Let's take a look here. Bitcoin again a little bit, see what's going on here. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Is it going to be going down more? I still think I don't think we're done going down just yet. I think we got a little bit more slide in us left before we bounce on this. But let me see here. Gary, you say you have no money to do anything more interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty much tapped out myself. I've been buying the dips here, and I'm tapped out for at least for right now. Gonna have to see if I can, scrounge around a little bit for a couple of weeks to start buying a little bit more. I've put in, I think, like 3,000 or 4,000 in the last 3-4 weeks or something like that I've been saving up, and it's all gone. I've been buying the dips on stocks and crypto, and it's all gone. So I gotta wait a couple more weeks to do it. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more, obviously, of Rivian. Bitfarms is really low now. Hive, I own a lot of Hive, but I own it at such a cheap price that it doesn't really make any sense for me to dollar cost average into it. And then CleanSpark obviously is way down as well. Those are the ones that I'm kind of getting into. What else do I have here? I got plenty of Bitcoin. ADA, I'm a little high on that. I think my average on that is around $1.60 or $1.70. So I may maybe get a little bit more Cardano. Hedera hash graph, I'm going to just hold on to that. Same thing with Doge. I got plenty of that. Sheeb, I'm probably going to sell. I put in like $250 into Sheeb just to see if it could possibly become something. And right now, I think I'm down like 40% or 50% on it. So I may just end up selling it, taking a loss on it. Solana, I don't own any Solana. Coin, I do own Coin. Coin has done terribly. That was a mistake, buying that at the IPO. But I figured, hey, what the heck? I'm using the service. Thought it was a great company. Still is a great company, but just didn't pan out with investors. So we'll see how this goes forward. I think Bitcoin rebounds. We may be able to break even on it. And I only own 3 shares of it, so it's not a big deal. Jubes are same, put in 10K in the last fortnight. Okay. Yeah, my son spent like $500, $600 from his birthdays and everything else on Fortnite. Let's see, Rivian. I do own Rivian as well. I've been trying to buy in on that. I have 47 shares. I think my average price on that is like $93. So love to get some more of this in. I want to get it to at least 100 shares on Rivian. Bitfarms only have like 200. Hive, I've got like 13,600, I think, of those. So I bought those really, really early on. CleanSpark, I only own like 50 right now, so 50 shares. So I'd probably like to get a little bit more of those. Tesla, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla may be a good buying right now, but it's just so expensive. So basically, $1,000, you get 1 share. It goes up to 1,500 or something like that. Well, you only made $500 on it. Might be better off putting your money someplace else. What else do we have here? Wolf obviously is TerraWolf. They're way down. Don't know enough about them. Iris Energy is also way down, but all of these guys are really way down. It's a shame. It's tough. XPDI, that's actually Core Z right now, I think, is the new one for that one. That's changed. Could probably get rid of that. Riot is way down as well. So is Marathon. It's brutal. But I mean, if you look at the charts here on these guys in Bitcoin, it's just pretty much 1-to-1, up and then all the way down. Obviously, Bitcoin had a little bit more oomph trying to get above everything else, but it just couldn't do it. So, and that's on the daily chart. What else do I want to show you guys here that might be interesting a little bit? What do you guys think of the NFTs thing? Let's take a look at here. What was it? BV NFTs. Is anybody on this? I saw, I'm sure you guys probably saw Andre Zhik's video on this. Trying to understand the whole NFT space a little bit. And it's kind of interesting, but I'm not a collector of comics or, Pokemon cards and all the other things. I'm not a collector of these things, so I just don't understand the space as well as I probably should understand it to get into it, to figure out what is actually worth investing in and what isn't. I do love movies like Ghostbusters, Marvel, DC, movies. Those are great, but I just don't know enough about the history on these to know which of the NFT drops are going to be good or not. Let me see. Jesco, I will be dollar cost averaging on Hut mostly. Yeah, I mean, I like Hut too. They actually, oh, that reminds me. Hut did what did they do on that one? Let me see here if I can find it. Hut 8, they bought a data center. Let me see if I got it in here someplace where we can find it. Let's go to Yahoo Finance. So Hut actually announced it. Yeah, there it is. Acquisition of TerraGo's data center business. So this is kind of interesting. So I've said this before. It seems like a lot of these guys are diversifying, not just doing Bitcoin mining or Ethereum mining, but they're getting into, data centers here where they're going to be. I don't know exactly what they do here, but we can find out here relatively quickly. But then you got also Argo getting into NFTs. Also, gosh, what's the word for it? Staking and DeFi. They're getting into that with 10% of their HODL position investing in those things. You got Hive also doing the same thing where they bought a portion of a media company for their NFTs. They also did some DeFi things. So it seems like these guys are kind of diversifying and not just doing the HODL position. But let's take a look at the acquisition by Hut here. So Hut is pleased to announce it has entered into a definitive agreement to purchase the cloud and co-location data centers business from TerraGo. Once complete, the acquisition will establish Hut 8 as a leading high-performance computing platform, providing unique positioning for the company within digital asset ecosystem. About the data center business, the acquisition consists of 5 data centers across Canada with a comprehensive information technology offering that includes a complete selection of scalable cloud services. So is this like web services by Amazon, AWS? The data center business spans from Toronto to Vancouver with over 36,000 square feet of diverse data center spaces. Existing scalable power capacity totals 4.1 megawatts with further 1.5 megawatt of expansion capacity available within existing shelf space in Kelowna location. Hut 8 is acquiring customers, employees, and diverse product offering as part of it. So this will obviously enhance diversification profile by establishing a broad high-performance computing platform with recurring revenues and stable cash flow. 400 commercial customers, provides exposure to secular tailwinds supporting the growth of resilient data center sector, and capitalizes on the acceleration of existing digital trends, creates platforms for development of applications and services to understand undeserved markets and customers in the growing digital asset, blockchain, gaming, and Web 3.0, and then accelerates Hut 8's ability to address the need for high-performance computing and GPU graphics processing compute. So that's kind of like what Hive is also getting into. Additional of more than 30 experienced data center professionals. So everybody's expanding, it seems like. And then what do I think of? Gary's asking, what do I think of cores? Cores? I don't know enough about them yet. I have to do a deep dive on them, which is I'm going to do. So that was one of the things I was going to talk to you guys about, is for that poll that we did, or that I did on YouTube, you guys answered or responded to it. And it looks like 61% of you want Core Scientific, only 4% Greenedge, and 7% Stronghold, and then Bit Digital is 28%. So I'm going to go with Core Scientific. I'll probably look into it this weekend. But from what I've seen as far as what they have right now, I think what are they going to be at 15, something like that, exahash that they have planned? Well, let's take a look at them, see what's going on with those guys. While we're here, might as well just take a quick peek at it. See what we got going on here. Core Scientific. So investors, let's see here. So obviously Core didn't do very well in its debut in the market. Picked a pretty bad time to get into basically a SPAC. Let's see, premium hosting. So they do hosting, blockchain technology, digital assets, self-mining. So this is what really interests me, is what do they do for their self-mining. Hardware hosted, Bitmain, NVIDIA, Epic, MicroBT, InnoSilicon, coins mined, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, Nero's Litecoin. So if they're mining Litecoin, they're also getting Dogecoin. SIA, okay, I used to mine SIA. I bought a miner for SIA a long time ago before they forked and basically made it impossible to mine SIA with the Bitcoin miners. not Bitcoin, Bitmain miners. But they're not saying here much do they have right now. So let's see if we can find anything in investors, see what they have. Events and presentations. Feature presentation. Let's go full screen, see what we get. So this is a little bit old. This is from October 19th. We'll take a look at it. Reading Jube's comment here. I wonder if we will see more on market purchases from the big miners for value and to help support a floor, or if the lower margins will lead to liquidation of hodl pools. Good question, actually. I think most of the miners are going to be profitable even if Bitcoin is around like $10,000 or just a little bit less than that. They should be still profitable at that. The S9s that I have, that I manage at the little farm that I manage, those are just barely profitable right now. It's to the point where we're possibly, if it drops below close to 30,000, we're probably going to think about shutting them down for a while until Bitcoin rebounds, because the hash rate has been going up. So with that being said, I don't think they're going to liquidate their hodl positions. I think they have enough to hold on to it. And if anything, what they're going to do is probably dilute shares if that happens, if they're really hurting that badly. But I think they can sustain themselves during this time, as long as not for 2 years or something like that. If it's 2 years where they're just barely making anything, but as long as Bitcoin's above 10,000, I think they'll be fine. So take it for what it's worth. So Gary, you commented that, yeah, they mined 1,000 in December, which was a lot. So they obviously have a lot, and Core Scientific has a lot of miners already installed. Let's take a look at this really quick here, so we can find some stuff on them. Obviously a big team here. Why Core Scientific? Let's see here. The other thing that kind of concerns me is the 71 patents or applications primarily related to blockchain infrastructure and fleet management. My concern with that is, are they going to become a patent troll? Which I don't like patent trolls. Let me see here. Third quarter highlights. So they mined, 1,588 Bitcoins in the third quarter. 2,116 held. 2.64 exahash self-mining hash rate, which is pretty much right now in line with, I think Hive and Hut 8 are lower than that. This would be in line with, who's around this line? I would have to take a look at it, but I can't remember who's at this one. We'll take a look at it here in a little bit. Let's see, what else do they have here? Infrastructure, digital asset mining, hosting, blockchain technology. So hosting, obviously, they're doing a lot better on that with almost over 4 exahash on that. And then the planned expansion, new sites in Texas and North Dakota is interesting. Obviously, you got plans in Kentucky, North Carolina, and Georgia. And these are some of the patents that they're talking about here. Proprietary facility designs. You got air that's being mixed with cold air from outside. That way it gives them steadier temperatures in the miners, which is kind of good. But I haven't seen anything on them doing immersion cooling. Immersion cooling would be, I think, a lot better. Let's see, you're scaling our data centers. Airflow and heat evacuation, optimize costs, maintain thermal balance, continuously improve and evaluate alternative technologies. Immersion, okay, so they are talking about immersion here. Key technological enablers, reminder, network services, digital asset. So they have the high scalable minder software, incident response through software solutions before escalating to manual diagnosis, track, monitor, read logs, and configure all aspects. This to me is really easy to set up. I've set this up for the little farm that I manage. Most of the stuff you can pull off the miners relatively easily with JSON queries. So that's not a big deal. It can show you relatively quickly which miners are down. Also through, if you're using mining pool, which most of these guys are, the mining pool will show you which miners are down, which ones are not performing properly. They do that anyways. So anytime that somebody speaks about, that they have some software that's giving them an advantage, I don't really buy it. Fully integrated and automated workflow management, including ticketing and reporting, and make informed business decisions by tracking and flagging machines. Yeah, I mean, when you have that many machines, thousands of machines, you really need to have control of that. 140 megawatts, 100 megawatts, 185, 100, and then 300 megawatts in Texas. obviously, who was it that reported just now? It was, gosh, drawing blank. Iris Energy just reported they're getting 630 megawatts power installed in Texas. So Texas is definitely the hub for Bitcoin mining right now. Let's see what else do we have here. Third quarter total hosting and self-mining hash rate 7 exahash. Deployment velocity of 1,000 units per day. That's huge. That's a lot of miners being installed per day. Network operates 24/7. Facility tour, goals in progress. Miners to Core Scientific being deployed. Revenue, obviously, huge revenue growth. 2021 estimated 493 million compared to 2020, so huge growth for them. I'm surprised that we'll have to take a look. I can't remember exactly what their market cap is right now. Digital hosting, blockchain hardware, decentralized finance. So DeFi, there you go. So that's a portion of it. I think that is right there. Small portion of it, but still doing some DeFi in there. Then you get the blockchain hardware, hosting, digital asset mining. So yeah, obviously self-mining is going to be a big driver for growth. 2022, 572 million, it looks like. 2022, okay. Revenue, so 1 billion in revenue basically this year. And that's a lot. Self-mining hash rate ordered or installed, so they're going to be at 15 exahash, 15 exahash year end of 2022 projection, which is really good. So that's in line with, well, it was in line with Mara. Mara was going to be at 15, now they're going to be at 23.3. So they're a little bit below, but they also have obviously a lot of hosting. So I mean, I think if you include the hosting in that, you'll be at like almost 20 exahash. And let's see, what is this? Strong visibility announced, infrastructure megawatts. Yeah, so they're going to be growing. Q&As. All right, get out of that. Let's see, any questions, guys, on that one? Let's take a look at them on the charts here, cores. What is their market cap? Actually, let's go here. So cores, market cap right now is it really only 300 million? Wow. That is really, really low. What is their, let's see, shares out, free float, market cap 238 million, shares out 43 million, okay. Wow, that's actually really, really low based on where they are. Let me see here. So I'm going to see if I can pull up my spreadsheet here really quick with all the miner details. We'll take a quick look at them to see how they compare with the other guys here. Where am I at here? Full cam, open that up. Let's see if I can get that going. Let's see here, miners 2022 numbers. Let's use that. And then, okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so you guys are being able to see this. So this is the miners comparison here for everybody that we have currently. So they're at 2.6 exahash. So they're larger than Bitfarms right now, a little bit smaller than Riot and Marathon, and basically larger than everybody else. Everybody else here is still around a little less than 2 exahash. DigiHost is only 415 petahash, along with DMG. But yeah, that puts them up in the top 3 guys, and these guys are worth 1.7 billion, 2.63 billion. But that hasn't been updated in a while, in a couple of days. So that's obviously, I'm sure that's fallen from where it was. Let's see, Mara. Where's Mara at right now? Market cap, 2.26 billion still. Yeah. So if Cores is only at, that doesn't seem right to me. Market cap only 300 million. Is that correct, guys? That seems a little bit off. So let me see, Gary, I believe at $10 it was supposed to be 4.3 billion. So at 7 today, I'm guessing 3 billion market cap. I think the SPAC, that is low. Yeah, I don't know. That seems really, really low. I don't know why that's being, unless the numbers haven't been updated yet. Let me see here. Mohammed, why do Bitcoin maxis rave about Bitcoin hash rate going up while Bitcoin tanks? Thanks, horrible for the miners. Let me see, Bitcoin hash rate going. A lot of times, I think what they're talking about there is the Bitcoin's hash rate. If it's going up, it's sometimes like a leading indicator of future price growth, possibly because people are bullish on it. They're getting miners installed. So that's, I think, what has led to it in the past. Will it be the same this year? I don't know. We'll have to see, obviously, where Bitcoin goes. But typically, increase in hash rate tends to lead to increase in price of Bitcoin eventually. It may be 3-6 months down the road to a year, but it does lead to it in the past, at least. Let's see, what else do we have here? So we got somebody here with MicroStrategy, CleanSpark, DigiHost, and SDIG. Not sure what SDIG is. And then Health and Wealth. I'm struggling to either buy miners or buying BTC itself. I hear miners are more volatile than the asset. In USD terms, it makes sense, but what about miners outperforming BTC itself? Okay, you're talking about miners, the actual stocks, I'm guessing. So the thing that we've noticed with miners, the companies that mine Bitcoin, is that typically when Bitcoin, at least that's what I'm seeing, not financial advice, do your own research. But when Bitcoin goes up 1%, the miners will actually go up like 1.5 or 2%. So it's like 1.5x on the opposite side, but it's also 1.5 to a 2x downside going down. So that is true. I think if you're looking to possibly get in a good position, right now might be a good position. We don't know if this is the bottom, so not financial advice. But if you think the miners, obviously some of the guys that are getting a lot of the miners installed this year, I think the price is going to go way up, especially if Bitcoin at least goes up to, I'm guessing, maybe 85,000 this year or something like that, if things quiet down. It wouldn't be, if Bitcoin goes up 20%, I think the miners will go up 30-40%. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that. Bitcoin obviously is for the long run, I think. I'm in it for at least 5-10 years. I've been hodling it for, since 2017 now, so almost 4 years, going on 5 years. And I'll continue to hodl it, add more a little bit if I can. Anything else? Nope. Okay. So yeah, if we look at Core Scientific is obviously lower than Mara and Riot, but we'll obviously have to see how their market cap and everything else is provided. We'll see if that's, obviously, to me that doesn't seem right, to 300 million for that. So that's got to be corrected. We'll have to see on that. And then the amount of miners, so they're at 2.6 exahash right now. That was actually back in September. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're at 3 exahash right now, closer to being with Riot, Marathon, or possibly above them right now. And then what else do we have here? And we'll have to see how many miners are. The hard part about them, I don't know if I'm able to find it anywhere, but my concern looking at Core Scientific is that we may not have all the data as far as how many miners they have of X model, when did they get those in, what are they buying now as far as what the future hash rate is going to be. So that always helps, knowing that, and then timetables as far as when things are going to get installed. It's always nice to get miners that are either just starting out, so they provide a lot of information, but these guys have been private for a while, and now they're just going through that SPAC merger. So they have a lot of equipment already. It's going to be hard to get all that data. So a lot of it can be kind of generic, where they may report that they have X amount of miners, and they're mining 3 exahash right now. We'll just have to go by that. We won't know anything else other than maybe the new announcements that they provide. So something to keep in mind. Let's see, Mohammed. Core Scientific is a SPAC for the market cap isn't actually 300 million. 300 million is for XPDI, the holding company. The real market cap, I think the share is around 5 billion last time I checked. Yeah, so that didn't seem right to me. I heard the same thing. Let me see here. Yeah, so if they were at $10 a share at 5 billion, we're down to 6, so almost half. So they're probably around 2.6, 2.7 billion market cap right now, looks like, I'm guessing. And then Ted D, I have dry powder on the sidelines. In your opinion, which 2 miners would have the highest return on investment? I mean, that's a tough one. Obviously, the ones that have the percent operational to me, and then the future hash rate. So Iris has only 836 petahash right now. They're going to be at 15 by the second quarter, I think, of 2023. So they're only at 5.6% operational right now. So they have a long ways to go still. Marathon, same thing. They're at 3.5 exahash. They're going to be at, this is wrong. This is supposed to be 23.3 exahash. I have to figure this out based on the miners that they have. But they obviously have a long ways to go as well. And then you got obviously Riot, DMG. But my concern with Marathon is them being able to get the miners in place in time, finding the space for all this stuff. I know they're working with, was it Compute North, to build it out. So any little snags in that's going to postpone it. They obviously have also lawsuits against them right now, so it's kind of tough on them. But I do like Iris, especially with the price coming down quite a bit recently. I am invested in Bitfarms, Hive, and CleanSpark. I do like CleanSpark as well. CleanSpark has some of the most efficient miners. If you look at the miners' efficiency, so they're at 100,000, 100 terahash miners, 100,000 terahash miners. Then you got Riot at 103, Marathon at 109 right now, roughly, and then Iris at also 100. So those guys have pretty good miners. Hive I got into a long time ago, so I've held on to them. I'm hoping they get to maybe $10 if Bitcoin goes up over 200,000 maybe. Who knows, we'll see. And then Bitfarms, same thing. I think they have a lot of miners that are still going to be installed with, with really good hash rates coming in. So that's kind of where my head is on this. You can also get into like a ETF, that's like rigs. ETF if you want to just get a basket of everything, and that might actually do pretty well as well. That way you got, I think, you got Marathon in there, Riot, you got pretty much all these guys in here, plus you have NVIDIA, and what's the one, Taiwanese Semiconductor as well in there for the chips. So it's a good, I think it's a good ETF to get into possibly. So let's see, what else do we have here? Geary Powered 6.6 exahash now currently as they mined more than double Mara. Okay, so is the 6.6 exahash, Gary, with the hosting as well? Is that maybe combined? Because that would seem like a lot of miners getting installed within 3 months. You're looking at basically 4 exahash in 3 months. That's a lot. That's basically Marathon's at 3.5 exahash. That's 25,000 or close to, well, yeah, I mean, you're looking at, what is it going to be, 40,000 miners possibly getting installed or so. And so that's a lot, so I don't know if that would be the case. So that's why I said I have to do a little bit more due diligence on Core Scientific to find out exactly what they have, and then what they're actually hosting, and keep those two separate. Because I don't think they're going to be expanding their hosting more. I think they want to get into more of the self-mining. So that to me is the bread and butter that the information that I really want. Any other questions, guys? Let's see what else we got going on here. But I'll do a complete video on this tomorrow, the miners versus miners, and we'll do a miners versus Bitcoin as well. It's going to be a brutal week for both. I think more so for the miners than Bitcoin. You know, we've seen this before, where, let me see here, where did it go? There it is. You know, Bitcoin has obviously fallen. Let's do a weekly, maybe even daily chart here on Bitcoin. So we are on Saturday, so Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So if we just look at Bitcoin going from here down, I can't see it, down to about there. Yeah, we went down 70% in, excuse me, in Bitcoin in the last week. We can also see that here in the currencies. Bitcoin's gone down 60% in the last week, whereas the miners, if we look at them, let's see here, Hive got beat up pretty bad today. So if we go back 5 days on it, let's see if we can draw a line here. 5 days. So Friday, Thursday. So from here down here, it's 25% down. Excuse me. So they've gotten beat up. Let's see here. What else do we have? Mohammed, what do you think miners do long term? They can't keep mining Bitcoin forever. Eventually, it won't be profitable after all the halving cycles and global hash rate increases. Well, that's a kind of good question. And surprisingly, the old S9 miners from Bitmain that we have in our farm that I manage, those are still somewhat profitable, even, what is it, almost 5 years from now. The good thing is, I think they're going to have to, ever so often, every 5 to 8 years, they're going to have to reinvest their capital into new miners, more efficient miners, because we're seeing the efficiency go really, really fast up, and huge decreases in the consumption that they're having. So, for example, the S9 back in 2017 was mining 13.9 terahash, I believe it's terahash, 13.9 terahash, and it drew 1,300 watts, something like that. You look at the miners that are coming out today, the XPs from Bitmain, those are 140,000, right? 140,000 terahash. I get that right. 13,900 terahash for the old ones, 140,000 terahash for the new ones. Those are at 3,030 watts. So you're seeing a huge increase, obviously, in the hash rate, but the energy consumption has been coming way down. So they're more profitable for longer periods of time. You're also seeing that they last longer. Then now you have also Intel coming out with miners that are supposed to be even more energy efficient. We don't know what they're going to hash at, so we'll have to wait until we get the results for it to be able to come up with a conclusion. Are they any better than Bitmain's or not? But we did have, what is it, Rig, I think, bought a bunch of them from them for this year, so we'll get some data from that as well. Let me see, what else was your question here? And the halving cycles, okay. So each time the halving cycle, we get a halving cycle. Bitcoin, obviously, usually before the halving cycle, or a little bit before, we've seen a huge increase in the price because the demand and the supply. So it's basically demand and supply economics. The supply is going to drop way down. The demand is still increasing each year that we've seen ever since Bitcoin's inception, where it started out at a penny, less than a penny, and now it's at still, 36,000 right now, or something like that, and we're complaining that it's dropping. So if you look at the longer term picture, it's going to keep going up, I think. Maybe not as fast as it has obviously in the past, but it's going to continue going up because you do have more adoption and everything else, and supply is going to go down, demand is going to keep going up, the price is going to go up. So as long as the miners, as long as they are prudent on keeping their costs low and everything else, not blowing their cash, I think they'll be fine, even if we get into a little bear market here now and then. So I think they should be fine on that. And then, what was the other part of your question here? Global hash rate obviously is increasing, but the miners' efficiency is also getting better, and so is their speed. And that's I think that's a feature of Bitcoin. It actually gets rid of the older miners that are less efficient and more power hungry, and those guys that have those obviously are going to have to go to the wayside. And when they do, that's going to decrease the hash rate a little bit, and then obviously that's going to make it more profitable for the guys that are in it with the better miners. Let's see, what else do we have here? Gary Pell, the company operated a fleet of 67,000 ASIC Bitcoin miners from its own account, which represents 6.6x. Okay, so that's actually really interesting. If they're at that much and they were at 2.6 just 3 months ago, that is a huge increase. So I'll have to definitely check that out. No, Gary, I'm no expert, trust me. I've learned a lot, but I'm no expert at it. One of the good things in this space is you have to continue to get educated. You can't stay still in this space or you're going to fall behind. Josh just turned in. Are you averaging down on your crypto positions? Yeah, I'm looking to it. I spent a lot in the last couple of weeks here when everything was going down, buying Bitfarms, CleanSpark. I bought more Rivian shares. So I've been buying into those. I do want to get some more crypto. Bitcoin, I get a little bit from the mining anyways, along with Ethereum. So I'm not too big on that, but I do want to probably get into more of the Cardano. And there was another one that I want to get into as well. Just drawing a blank right now on it. But Cardano was one. Solana has come back down. I don't know about Solana too much. Heard some bad things about it and problems that they're having, things like that. They were down for a period of time last year for like 16 hours or something like that. So I'm not sure about Solana. So yeah, I'm looking to buy when I can. Right now, cash is kind of tight. What else we got here? Which miners are on top using clean energy to mine things? Well, the miners, let's see here if we can look at the miners here. I don't think I have the information here, but from what I know is Hive is obviously using a lot of the Canadian from the rivers. What's that called? I'm drawing a blank. It's not thermal. Gosh. From the water, from the rivers, you're getting hydro. Sorry, there we go. Hydroelectricity. So they're using a lot of that. They're also using some thermal, I believe, that they got in there from that, and in because they also have operations in Sweden, I believe. This is all from memory. And they're using thermal there. So they're obviously pretty clean when it comes to that. And what's his name? Frank Holmes is always espousing how their Bitcoin is better because it's mined with natural resources and things like that. So Hive is one of them. You obviously have most of these guys here are pretty good at it. CleanSpark as well. So is Hut 8 as well. Hut 8 is in Canada as well. Operations in there. I think they're getting into Texas as well, if I'm not mistaken. So most of these guys have done a really good job of improving on that. It was a lot of the miners that you saw in China that were using the coal power and everything else. And luckily, China banned Bitcoin mining, and that created them or forced them to actually move out of China and go to possibly where there's cleaner electricity, like U.S., Kazakhstan has a little bit cleaner electricity than China, but it's not the best. But most of the guys in the United States and Canada have pretty good electricity. If they don't, most of them are buying offsets because there's a lot of ESG concern with the miners, and they're trying to stay clean as best they can to get institutional investors investing in them, so they can obviously get money and things like that. And they want it's turned more into making sure that Bitcoin isn't slammed as much for being dirty, basically, wasting a lot of electricity and things like that. And that's why I think you have also, what's their name? Intel getting into it, helping out a little bit. I'm sure it's going to, pocket their wallets as well from it, if they obviously can produce great miners going forward. So we'll see. What else do we have here? Hive, yeah. So Hive is definitely one. Have you heard of BTCS? They're a crypto staking company. They stake altcoins like Ethereum. It's like mining, but their miners are actual coins. The coins don't depreciate with no cost to mine. Yeah, I think I read an article about them not too long ago. Then I think I've even checked them out a little bit to see how they would perform. But staking I don't do staking. I don't cover staking. But I do know that you can make some money on it. And at one point you were able to, if you were staking like Bitcoin or some of the stable coins, you were getting like 10, 12% from like BlockFi and who else was it? Gemini, I think, was staking as well. So there were a couple of guys in there that you could stake and get pretty good. But I don't know what the returns. I know the returns have come down on staking, so I just don't cover it. Sam, you're very welcome. Let me see. Staking. Yeah. Let me see here. I think that's it, guys. If you guys don't have any other questions or anything else, pretty much call it a day. This was fun. Let me see here. What else we got going on? Let's take a look at Bitcoin one last time. See where it's at. How many of you guys are getting into like the metaverse, NFTs? NFTs, obviously, I got to do more research on that stuff. Metaverse, same thing. Metaverse, you got Decentraland, X Infinity, Sandbox. Wondering if it's any good to buy into it a little bit. Maybe buy a little virtual land. If it's going to become the same thing like it is in the real world, where land is becoming more valuable each year. Could it be I don't know. I need to do a heck of a lot more research on this part of the space than anything else. Btc is falling even more. Let's take a look at it. Let's see. Yeah, 35.85. Yeah. I mean, we came down yesterday to 35.5 roughly. Definitely went past my 37,500 line that I had here roughly. Next line I'm thinking might not be until we maybe have support at 32.8 it looks like. And that was based on the numbers of times we had support and resistance. So maybe that'll play a part in it. Let's see if we can zoom in on this a little bit better. That's here. So, and then we have obviously this trend line here. Well, let's see if we can zoom in. So maybe we'll touch it either today or possibly tomorrow, and then hopefully from there we'll bounce, because I mean the RSI is already so low. We are at what, 21 on the RSI. So it's a cascade effect, unfortunately. Once it starts selling, a lot of people start selling. I don't know if it's just retail investors, which we're hearing that retail investors are not really into it anymore. They've gone to other greener pastures, into altcoins, and it's just institutional investors that are basically driving this, and that's why the price has been falling down. But you got to think of it, if we go back far enough in time on it, we've been up and down on Bitcoin price here since basically the beginning of it. I mean, and we've still continued to go all the way up to almost 70,000, which is just outstanding. And that's in basically, what, 10, 11 years time? From a penny up to 70,000 almost in 10, 11 years. We've obviously had our peaks, and we've had our, downs, our drops here, and then the bear markets, and I'm hoping that we don't have another bear market like we had after 2017, because that was painful as well. Having it go down from 20,000 to 3,000. So if we go from 70,000 down to 20,000 or something like that, it's not too bad. But if we go down to like 5,000 or something like that, that's going to be really painful. But I don't think that's going to happen. Mainly because you do have so many people now hodling it. MicroStrategy, companies like the mining companies are hodling it. Everybody else is hodling it. So I think there's a lot more people holding on to it for a longer term than trading it as we've had in the past. But I could be wrong. We'll see where it actually ends up at. Ethereum looks like it's also coming down some more, down 2.2% as well. So that's obviously not good for Hive and for Hut 8. They mine those coins as well. But Hut gets paid out in Bitcoin, I believe, for mining Ethereum. SHIB is way down, another 8%. Everything is just way down. And I think people are just panicking. Whether it's the inflation or the interest rates that are going to be going up, got people freaking out. Yeah, but everybody does what they have to do to survive, I guess. And if people are afraid of inflation and interest rates going up, which interest rates are still really low compared to where they were just even 5-10 years ago. I said this yesterday. My first townhouse that I bought was like interest rate of 7%. So compare that to where we are now, where it's 3%. It's still relatively low. So I think it's being overblown a little bit, and it could be the institutional investors just playing with all of us. Let's see here. So Sam, from the chart, is there a possibility BTC hits 28 before it rebounds? Well, let's take a look at Bitcoin here really quick. I have the next support at about 32,000. We obviously came down here to the 28,000 before in July. Could it come back down? Sure, it could. I mean, we're lower on the RSI on the weekly than we have been here. So I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping that this is just a healthy pullback. You know, shake out some of the weaker hands in Bitcoin, and then we can continue going back up. But if we go down to the 28, we could be down on the RSI to around 30 or even below it on the weekly frame timeline. So it is possible. I mean, we've seen Bitcoin do crazier things before, go down 20% in one day and go up 30% in one day. So anything is possible with Bitcoin. Yeah. Other question. Josh asked, can you clarify with MicroStrategy and what happened with the SEC? So the SEC has said that basically they don't like the way that they are accounting for the Bitcoin holdings or something like that. I'm not a tax expert or a financial expert at that, so I gotta look into that as well. But I think it's just like, don't do this next time. I think what they said is in the next report they don't want to see it or something like that, the way that it's being done. Not a big deal there. But obviously the market is panicking anyways because Bitcoin's going down, so everything's going down. Health and wealth. Hi Sebastian, do you plan to run nodes when Ethereum becomes proof of stake this summer? You're currently running 4 nodes and getting 5.3 ROI net profit. Okay, yeah, no plans on running nodes. Health and wealth. What's the staking minimum that you have to have on Ethereum? Is it still, what was that? Is it 1,000 coins that you have to have? I hope it's not 1,000 coins. Let's see, the Mohammed. I think small cap coins and NFTs took a lot of steam out of BTC since you are able to get a greater return. BTC from 50K to 100K was only 2x. People like altcoins because of better use cases. Yeah, so I completely agree with you there. And that's what a lot of the people are saying, is that retail has moved away from Bitcoin into these other coins because Bitcoin will go up 2, 3, 4, 5x or something like that. So even from here, it'll go up 6x, maybe to 200K. Whereas some of these other guys, the altcoins, the Sheebs, the Ibinibus, Ubidibidus, are all going up 10,000%, 20,000%, and that's where people are kind of betting or hedging their bets on as those coins. So I totally agree with you there. Okay, so one node is 32 Ethereum. Okay. So I knew it was, I thought that was a little high. What I was thinking was 1,000. So 32, but that's still a lot. I mean, 32 Ethereum, multiply that by, well, it's now 2,500 roughly. That's still a lot of cash if we look at it. 32 times 2,500. Yeah, it's still $80,000. That's a lot of change. Most people don't have that kind of cash to node it, to stake it, basically, validate it. Hive obviously has that kind of cash and they could do it. I know that they're staking, or they're hodling. At one point they had, what did they have, 25,000 Ethereum or something like that, coins or something like that. Let's see here. Yeah, so we'll have to see obviously how things play out. We've been here before, so we may come down again, test it, and go back up from there. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. It's been 1 hour. It's been fun. Unless you guys have any other questions, I'm going to call it a day. It's 12:15 already. But we'll see. Obviously, more videos coming out tomorrow. We'll do the miner versus Bitcoin comparison video, and then I'll do the miner versus miner, see how things are going, and possibly start working on Core Scientific. See if I can get some data from them. Hopefully they provide good data. If not, we'll deal with it as best we can. And going forward, we'll obviously update the data and have better data going forward. So, any other questions, guys? Let me see here. No, okay. You don't need you can join a pool. Coinbase and BTCS let you do jump in for a fee. Okay. So that's interesting too. So I wasn't aware of that. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. So I don't know. We'll see when Ethereum even goes to 2.0. You know, they've been talking about it for the past couple of years. They are getting closer and closer to it. Will it happen this year? Don't know. You know, they keep it's a huge undertaking to go from proof of work to proof of stake, especially with everything that they have built into smart contracts and the ERC tokens and everything else. It's a daunting task to get that switched over. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get kicked down the road for at least another year or so before they can work everything out. All right. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's fun. Maybe we'll do this once a week. I think like Friday night we'll maybe do this every Friday if everything doesn't get too crazy. But thank you so much for joining. It's been fun. I love the comments and the questions and things like that. It makes me think, makes me use my brain, so I enjoy that. So have a great weekend, guys. Tomorrow, 2 videos tomorrow. Sunday, we'll see if we get a video out on Sunday. Other than that, fingers crossed, the Bitcoin is close to getting bottom here, and then we're going to continue going back up into the new